Can we just talk about the National Transport Strategy? And Jamie, I think you've got a question.
Thank you, Convener. I think we've obviously spoken about a large number of different transport means this morning, and I think it's quite apt as we come to close on this that we look at the National Transport Strategy in general. As a committee in one of our off-site days, I think the theme that came up often was that there should be a joined-up approach to transport in Scotland, and I just wondered if we may touch on that. I'd like to ask specifically about the National Transport Review, and if you will confirm that it will be quite comprehensive and all-encompassing and looking at a number of different areas concerning transport in Scotland, including things like ticketing, payment methods, including smart cards, but also just looking at how services connect and join up together in terms of how ferries connect to trains, how trains connect to buses, and so on. You know, this committee is the connectivity committee as well as the rural economy committee, and I think it's quite important that we stress the importance of rural connectivity as part of this meeting, and the importance that people that transport isn't just for getting from A to B, but it does have social repercussions in terms of getting and connecting our villages and towns across Scotland. So I just wondered if you would confirm that, but also in detail outline the timetable for that review and how the public will be able to consult or how external stakeholders can take part in that review. That would be most helpful.
Yeah, I think the member articulates very well some of the challenges that we face and some of the opportunities that we could realise if we get it right when it comes to the review of the National Transport Strategy. You know, it's a funny thing when you're appointed as a minister, you don't overnight, of course, become an expert in transport, and so my approach has always been to listen to the experts as much as I possibly could, try to gather from them their expertise, and one of the big issues that has come up and particularly in rural areas was the connectivity through different modes of transport, as the members just mentioned. So getting off the ferry and then getting a train and then getting a bus to where you need to get to, should be a lot simpler than it currently is. And part of that, I hope, will be the smart ticketing and the rollout of smart ticketing in Aberdeen and Dundee, leading the way in some of that smart ticketing in terms of initiatives. Still a lot of work to do, and I'm committed to the national rollout of that, of course, done in phases. So that will be incredibly important. What I would also do is stress exactly what the member has said. There's a reason why I, as a junior minister, sit under the Cabinet Secretary for Rural Connectivity and Fergus Ewing. Some people might have thought my job might more pertain to, for example, infrastructure, and there's an element of that, of course, and I also have a close relationship with Cabinet Secretary Keith Brown, but there's a very deliberate reason why I'm under Fergus Ewing and his Cabinet Secretariat, and indeed this committee, because we realise how important transport is to rural connectivity, as well as the other connectivity issues in that portfolio. In terms of the specific question in regards to the review, yes, I can give an undertaking that this will be as wide scoping a review as possible, a real meaty review. That's why it will be over a period of 2 to 3 years. I haven't detailed the time scales, and we're still having those conversations, but I would welcome feedback, of course, from members. But the reason why it's going to be throughout the parliamentary term, as I've said, is because I need it to be detailed. Could I do a review within 12 months? I'm sure we probably could, but it's not something I would like to do at all, because it wouldn't be comprehensive at all. It's got to require engagement. Every meeting I go to, people give me ideas of what should be in that National Transport Strategy Review. Now, can I encompass them all? Probably not. But can I try to take as many of those transport priorities with us as part of the review as possible? I'll absolutely do that. So it'll be important to do that from a sectoral point of view, but also from a geographical point of view as well. So the period between now and spring 2017 is almost the pre-engagement that we're doing before the actual engagement as part of the review takes place. So, as I say, I'm already meeting with stakeholders, both passengers and commuters, and also those that are operating our transport operators, as well as actually regional transport partnerships, leaders of councils, and so on and so forth. I'm meeting with all of these to try all these individuals and organisations to see what their priorities are and to hear from them. But if the member ever wishes to have a sit-down session with me about what he thinks some of the priorities should be, then I'm more than welcome. I would more than welcome that.